Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show
with Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
From makeshift studios in the shadow of South Central Virginia, this is the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show, and I am your host, Joey Harris. Follow the show on Twitter at Cup of Joe Pod. You can email the show, cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. And folks, back again, another week. Had a tremendous Labor Day weekend. I hope you all did. I went to the racetrack close to my home with my father-in-law and some of his neighbors, and my dad also went with my uncle, and so it was good to see an evening of racing. Actually, a couple of times it was an evening of fights, and some racing broke out because there was a couple of instances where some guys got into an altercation after having a little fender rubbing and crashing and all of that. So even when I'm away from wrestling, sometimes the fights just break out, even in the middle of the race. Today, Project 45 lands in the year 1990, as we look at an episode of WWF Primetime Wrestling that aired on January 1st, 1990. In 1990, I was going into the second half of 6th grade, final year in elementary school, and it was a time of transition. Like, I was getting out of like some things, but getting more still into comic books. Hadn't gotten into wrestling yet. That wouldn't happen for about another year. Into movies, some TV shows, comic books, reading. I was a very boring child, but hadn't really gotten into girls yet. I mean, I liked girls, had crushes on girls, but if a girl didn't notice me or didn't talk to me, it wasn't the end of the world. WWF Primetime Wrestling aired on the USA Network on January the 1st, 1990. We start out with our intro. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby Heenan welcome us to Primetime. They say it's a new decade here at Primetime as the set is decorated for the new year. Gorilla says Heenan has been fined $5,000 for his actions the previous week and is on probation for a year. Roddy Piper is gone from Primetime Wrestling. This all stems from Heenan dressing up as Santa the previous week and Piper attacking him. Heenan says he would like to clear something up. He said that what happened was a ploy to suck Piper into his trap. He tells Monsoon that they don't need Piper. We go to our first match, Bad News Brown versus Mark Young. Young is Chief Jay Strongbow's son. He gets some early offense in. Brown rolls to the outside to regroup. After more offense by Young, Brown starts to go towards the back, but changes his mind and comes back. Brown takes over. He wins after the Ghetto Blaster. This was a really competitive match. Monsoon and Heenan talk about the Royal Rumble. Mean Gene Okerlund with a Royal Rumble update. They show highlights of the 1989 Royal Rumble. Monsoon and Heenan talk about Ted DiBiase buying a higher number and how there will be extra security this year. Hercules versus John Justice. Pre-recorded comments by Hercules about the Royal Rumble. This match was all Hercules and he wins with the backbreaker. Heenan and Monsoon talk about the controversy between the cable companies and the WWF. They were pushing this hard at the time on all WWF shows, as some companies had said they were not going to carry the Royal Rumble. Dino Bravo with Jimmy Hart and Earthquake versus Reno Riggins. Bravo in against my Facebook friend Reno Riggins. A USA chant goes out at the beginning of the match as they show pre-recorded comments from the Ultimate Warrior, who was feuding with Bravo at the time. Bravo totally dominates. He hits some side suplexes, but lifts Riggins up several times before the 3 count. A minor Warrior chant goes out. Warrior comes out and attacks Bravo to the delight of the crowd. He clotheslines Bravo to the outside. Warrior goes out after him, and Earthquake gets into the ring. Warrior gets up on the apron, and Bravo hits him on the back with a chair. Warrior falls to the floor. Bravo beats and stomps on Warrior. A Warrior chant goes out as more officials come down and get Bravo off of Warrior. Monsoon and Heenan discuss what just happened. After a break, Monsoon and Heenan hypothesize what would happen if the Rockers picked the first two numbers in the Royal Rumble, or Haku and Andre. We then go to a match featuring the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, versus Pat Rose and Arvel Hutto. Pat Rose is also a Facebook friend of yours truly. This match was from the same taping as the No Holds Barred cage match. Rockers hit some impressive double team moves. Michaels gets the pin after a top rope fist drop. Heenan and Monsoon talk some more about the Royal Rumble before throwing it to some of the participants for comments. Mr. Perfect, Coco Beware, the Honky Tonk Man, the Hart Foundation all talk about the Royal Rumble. We then get a Royal Rumble ad. Al Perez versus the Brooklyn Brawler. Match joined in progress from MSG. Gorilla Monsoon and Hillbilly Jim are on the call. Perez wins after a spinning suplex. Heenan and Monsoon talk about some of the other things happening at the Royal Rumble. WWF Tag Team Championship match. Demolition, Axe and Smash versus the Colossal Connection. Andre the Giant and Haku with Bobby Heenan. Axe and Haku start, and Haku attacking immediately. He chokes Axe on the top rope as a weasel chant goes out towards Heenan. Axe comes back with some shots. Haku with an Irish whip and a back elbow. Haku runs Axe into Andre's head. The referee pulls Haku away, allowing Andre to kick Axe. Haku with some throat thrust to Axe in the corner. The referee drags Haku away, allowing Andre to choke Axe. Smash comes in, but gets cut off by the referee. Andre comes in to continue choking Axe in the corner. Smash again tries to come in and then goes after Heenan. Haku and Andre double teaming Axe during all of this. Axe is trying to come back, and he and Haku exchange shots in the center of the ring. Haku hits a backbreaker and gets a 2 count. Haku gets up and kicks Axe several times in the back. Andre tagged in and he hits Axe with a shot that knocks him down. Smash complains to the referee, allowing Andre to go back to choking Axe. Andre manhandling Axe. He gets Axe in the corner, tags Haku in, and then goes back to smashing Axe in the corner while the referee is tied up with Smash. Andre moves as Haku goes for a 3-point stance, but Axe moves and Haku hits the corner post. Haku cuts off a tag attempt. Haku with forearms to Axe in the corner. Haku with a corner whip, but Axe hits him with a back elbow when he charges him. Haku again cuts off a tag attempt. Haku misses a shot. Axe picks him up and he atomic drops Haku, but as he was being lifted up, Haku tags Andre in. He grabs Axe and headbutts him a couple of times. All 4 men in now. The referee gets Smash out, allowing Haku to hit Axe with a thrust kick while Andre holds him. Andre then drops an elbow on Axe and pins him. New tag team champions. Andre attacks Axe with his belt and body until Smash comes in and attacks Andre with a chair. Gorilla and Bobby talk about the match and Heenan gloats and is brilliant here. The Brother Love show with guest Jake Roberts. He comes out with Damien wrapped around him. Brother Loves asks Robert about the Royal Rumble. Jake says he doesn't care when he comes in. Brother Love says Roberts could have a lot of enemies in the Royal Rumble. It breaks down and Roberts insults Brother Love before leaving. Mean Gene has a Royal Rumble report. Heenan and Monsoon talk about the Ronnie Garvin, Greg Valentine submission match coming up at the Royal Rumble. Rick Rude with Bobby Heenan versus Mario Mancini. Rude wins quickly with the Rude Awakening. Sean Mooney with another Royal Rumble report, followed by a Royal Rumble ad. They are selling this thing like crazy. The Bolsheviks, Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov versus the Hart Foundation. Bret Hart and Jim Neidhart. Volkov does his Russian national anthem gimmick, but gets cut off by the Hart Foundation coming out. It takes a while to get started. Hart and Zukov start. Hart misses an elbow. Zukov with a scoop slam and he misses an elbow when Hart moves. Hart with a roll up for a 2 count. Zukov misses a clothesline attempt and Hart hooks his arms for a backslide. He gets a 2 count. Hart with a scoop slam. Hart with a stomp to the crotch area as Neidhart was distracting the referee. Volkov tagged in. A USA chant goes out. Volkov distracted by the chant. They lock up and Volkov knees Hart in the stomach. Volkov with a double axe handle. Volkov lifts Hart up, but Hart slips behind and rolls Volkov up for a 2 count. Volkov wants to lock up for a test of strength. Hart stalling to play mind games with Volkov. He starts to go for it before tagging Neidhart in. They do a test of strength. After the commercial break, Volkov has Neidhart down and stomps him. He picks Neidhart up, gets a side headlock on, and hits Neidhart with a shot to the throat. Zhukov tagged in. Volkov holds Neidhart for Zhukov to hit in the face. Zhukov then hits Neidhart with a double throat thrust. He then picks him back up and headbutts him. Volkov tagged back in. Zhukov holds Neidhart for Volkov to kick in the stomach. Volkov with an Irish whip and a knee to the midsection. He then kicks Neidhart in the head several times. Zhukov tagged back in, and the Bolsheviks with a double Irish whip and a double clothesline. Zhukov gets a 2 count. Zhukov misses some shots, and Neidhart comes back with some shots of his own. Zhukov with a side headlock. Neidhart pushes off. Zhukov comes back with a shoulder block, and both men go down. A double count going. A USA chant goes out again. Volkov comes in to distract the referee so he doesn't see Neidhart tag Hart in, and the referee won't allow the tag. Volkov Irish whips Neidhart, who comes back with a sunset flip. The referee was tied up trying to get Hart out, so Neidhart only gets a 1 count. Volkov with a double axe handle to Neidhart's back. Volkov gets Neidhart in the corner, and Zhukov tagged in. Double team to drive Neidhart back into the corner. Zhukov with a front face lock. Neidhart trying to push his way out of the heel's corner. Volkov tagged back in. He kicks and hits Neidhart several times. Double Irish whip. Neidhart ducks a double clothesline attempt and comes back with a double clothesline of his own on the Bolsheviks. Hart finally tagged in, and he comes in and hits Zhukov with some shots. He clotheslines both Russians and runs their heads together. He atomic drops Volkov. He does the second rope elbow for a 2 count. Small package for another 2 count. Hart with an Irish whip and a shot to the midsection. Neidhart tagged in, and Hart slingshots him into Volkov. He gets a 2 count, but Zhukov breaks up the pin attempt. Hart comes in, and while referee Mike Chioda tries to get him out, Zhukov takes his boot off and goes to the second rope while Volkov holds Neidhart. He hits Neidhart with the boot, but Chioda sees it and calls for the disqualification. The Russians attack Hart, but Neidhart gets the boot and starts hitting both Russians with it. They both roll out of the ring. Bobby and Gorilla talk about the Royal Rumble again before signing off from Primetime. We then get our end credits. Final thoughts. A nice little palate cleanser of a show. The tag switch is good to see if you haven't seen it. Nice to give Andre a title in his last year as a competitor. Recommended. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TheJoeyHairs. If you like the show, please leave a review on iTunes or Apple Podcasts. I would really appreciate it. Thank you for joining me this week. This is Joey saying so long from the heart of Virginia.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.